Hi everyone, this is Mom Jessica once again to talk about another important topic entitled self efficacy. For today's topic, we will explore the concept of self efficacy through the following key points: Bandura's self efficacy theory for self assessment, the difference between people with high self efficacy and low self efficacy, the four main sources of influence to self efficacy, the growth mindset theory by Dweck, and lastly, the strategies to develop high self efficacy. This quote greatly captures our topic for today. They are able who think they are able. What is the quote trying to say? Every day, we encounter different challenges in our lives, but having strong belief in oneself will help us cope with these problems. So it is very important that we have trust in our capabilities to sustain motivation and be more resilient to stress. To expound the concept, let me define self efficacy based on Bandura's theory. Self efficacy is the people's belief about their capabilities to produce designated levels of performance that exercise influence over events that affect their lives. Meaning, ito'y isang paniniwala sa ating sariling kakayahan na may malaking impluensya sa mga bagay na nais nating gawin o maatim. Simply put, self-efficacy is a belief in our own ability, especially our capacity to meet the challenges ahead of us and complete tasks successfully. Many of us want to achieve certain goals in our lives, tama? We have goals related to our studies, some of us to our work, health or fitness, or even with our relationships with people. And some of us want to achieve similar goals. Meaning, meron tayo pare-parehong ambitions o pangarap sa buhay. But sadly, only a few of us ever achieve them. Sa palagay ninyo, bakit? The question is, what is the difference between people who achieve their goals and those who don't? Perhaps here is why. People with a strong sense of self efficacy or high assurance in their capabilities, they approach difficult tasks. They are not afraid of facing challenges. In other words, hindi sila takot humarap sa problema. Another thing, they set challenging goals and maintain strong commitment to them. They develop a deep interest in their activity and form a strong commitment to it. Meaning, they make it a point na tapusin nila kung ano man yung kanilang inumpisahan. People with high self-efficacy heighten and sustain their efforts in the face of failures or setbacks. Hindi nawawala sa kanila yung determination na makuha or ma-achieve nila ang kanilang mga goals. And they quickly recover from setbacks and disappointments. They attribute failures to insufficient efforts or deficient knowledge or skills, which for them are acquirable because naniniwala sila na everything can be learned and relearned. They do not blame anybody or anything for their failures because they view challenges and problems as tasks to be mastered. They also approach threatening situations with assurance or confidence that they can exercise control over them kasi nga meron silang tiwala sa kanilang mga sarili. While people with low or weak sense of self-efficacy, they shy away from tasks they view as personal threats. So they avoid challenging tasks. Say for example, takot silang ma-expose sa mga sitwasyon na maaari silang makatanggap ng criticisms o puna. Madali silang mawalan ng loob kapag nakakarinig sila ng mga puna mula sa ibang tao. So, iiwas na lang sila sa mga sitwasyon na maaaring makapagbigay sa kanila ng para sa kanila, no, kahihiyan dahil wala silang tiwala sa kanilang mga sarili. They also have very low aspirations or ambitions and very weak commitment to goals they choose to pursue, no? Mabilis mawala yung kanilang confidence sa kanilang kakayahan. So, once they encounter difficulties. Because they dwell more on their personal deficiencies or focus on personal feelings rather than concentrating on how to perform successfully. Believing that difficult tasks or situations are beyond their capabilities. They give up quickly in the face of difficulties. Mas focus sila sa negative outcomes. Very slow to recover after a failure or setbacks. Demotivated na sila for a long time. Hirap sila mag-move on sa mga negative na nangyari, so give up na sila and they don't want to try anymore. So these types of people, they are vulnerable to stress and depression. Of course, you are vulnerable to stress and depression because mas nangingibabaw yung kawalan ng tiwala sa sarili mo at sa iyong kakayahan, which in reality, that kind of attitude could be detrimental to one's trying to achieve success in order to be accepted and recognized. And that's the sad part of it. But remember that self efficacy depends on a particular situation. To clearly explain it, let me discuss the four main sources of influence to self efficacy. First are the mastery experiences. So these were the past experiences natin na related sa personal accomplishments, and probably this has the strongest influence on our self-efficacy. Say for example, we experience success in the past, more likely we have higher confidence next time we do the same task. When we talk about vicarious experiences, this is through the observance of social models which influence one's perception of self efficacy. But of course, in terms of social models, we should possess similar abilities with the role models we observe. Social models to whom we can relate to, people that we follow, admire, and want to replicate. Watching similar people succeed or hearing their success stories motivate us to believe that if they could, we can too. Sabi nga, kung kaya nila, kaya ko rin. However, the only challenge of this source is that if the role models are wrong in their ways, di ba? It is likely that their failures could destroy our self-efficacy or yung tipong may temptation na gayahin natin yung kanilang masamang ginagawa. So another main source of influence to self-efficacy is verbal persuasion. This can also be called social persuasion. People who are persuaded verbally that they possess the capabilities to master tasks are more likely to mobilize greater effort and sustain it rather than dwell on self doubts or personal deficiencies when challenges arise. Verbal persuasion from a role model or significant other has the greater influence to help you develop approach behavior towards mastery orientation. Meaning, we are more motivated to face challenges when we are being encouraged by the people we know and admire, most especially if we receive positive feedbacks from them. So if you can still remember nung bata pa kayo, 'di ba? Yung mga nanay nyo, 'di ba? Yung mga nanay nyo sinasabi na kumanta kayo, magsayaw, o kaya mag-recite ng tula, no, in front of an audience. 'Di ba ginagawa natin ito? Kasi yung paniniwala niya, no, ng ating mga nanay sa ating abilidad, no, ah, it encourages us, no, to show off. Kasi nga, kahit na sa totoong buhay, 'di ba, hindi naman talaga tayo ganun kahusay o kagaling, no, kumanta, sumayaw o magtula. Okay? Then lastly, when judging their own abilities, no, people rely on their emotional, physiological, or somatic states. The emotional, physiological, or somatic states of a person affect his or her performance. Halimbawa, no, yung stress, tension, fatigue, aches and pains na nararamdaman natin sa ating katawan could result to poor performance. However, sabi ni Bandura, he emphasized that the cues that we receive from our mind and body at any given moment and the way we perceive these cues shape our sense of self. Obviously, negative experiences and stress could make us vulnerable, but it all depends on how we react to such situations. Meaning, it is not all about the stress we feel, it is how we react to it. Now, if you are the type of person who has high self-efficacy, more likely you have a growth mindset, no, based on growth theory of intelligence by Dweck, no. People with growth mindset believe that their success are based on hard work, learning, training, and perseverance. Now, here are the strategies to develop high self-efficacy to get you started. Number one, acknowledge your success. You have to appreciate your accomplishments as that will cultivate a momentum. Kumbaga, tuloy-tuloy na yan. Okay? Next is to do your assignment. Educate yourself kasi the more knowledge you have, the lesser the challenges you encounter. With strong knowledge, it will be easier for you to face difficult tasks. Next is to surround yourself with positive and confident people. Observe how they do it and why they became successful. You can learn a lot from their experiences. Remember the ingredients to success. People with growth mindset and with a positive perceived self-efficacy have high possibility to attain success in life. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you learned a lot from this video to help you understand yourself and your capabilities and become the best version of yourself. Bye.